Okay, so this is how things are going to work. At the beginning of every video that I'm doing for the tournament duels, right before each match, I'm going to be quickly going over the decks that each character has, as well as the side deck. Um, so Mai has many of the upgraded Harpy monsters. And so, we have Sky Scout, aka Harpy's brother. Of course, you have to have Harpy's pet dragon and Harpy Lady Sisters in there. Then you have Harpy's Queen. And you guys can always pause the video to go ahead and read the effects on the left. I'll even scroll for you guys. But so for those of you who don't have YGO Pro, but there you have Harpy's Queen, who can go ahead and search out your Harpy's hunting ground by discarding her. Then you have Harpy Harpist, who can she has two different effects. The first of which lets you go ahead and return two monsters on the field to the hand, one of them being one of your own winged beasts, because bouncing to the hand is a common feature that a fair number of wind monsters have. And then the other being if she was sent to the graveyard during the end, you can go ahead and get a search from your deck. I believe it has to be another wing beast. Then you have 3 copies of Birdface to go ahead and continue to thin your deck even more. So this deck is relatively fast, especially because Birdface, it's a very decent stat line, but against bigger threats, he's not going to stick around anyways. You have Garuda just because it's a wind deck, and you have Amazon as Chainmaster, since this was a monster that Mai went ahead and played. She had some Amazoness cards, not many. An Element Dragon, just because why not, filler card. 2 Harpy Channeler, so that you can go ahead and you can pull off some shenanigans if you get the Harpy's Dragon up on there. But then it also not only thins your deck by pulling a Harpy, but summons it straight to the field, potentially allowing you to Xyz summon, or in Mai's case, since she's a very upfront woman and very aggressive in her dueling style, you can go ahead and perform beatdowns. So you have Harpy Ladies 1, 2, and 3. Gives all your wind monsters attack. You don't have to worry about flip effects, and monsters that she battles can't attack for a short period of time. And so then you have the Harpy's Dancer. I personally speaking, I don't know much about combos that you can do with this, but you have another bouncing effect. Harpy's Pet Baby Dragon, which can be incredibly annoying to deal with, especially in against some of these other decks, the way that they're set up. And then you have Hunter Owl, a card that is somewhat special to me. It was a promo card that I received from a video game that I once bought. But these 2 monsters right here can help you perform a beatdown if you set them up correctly. Then you have Triangle Ecstasy Spark, because what else would you run the Harpy Lady Sisters for? Of course, you have to have Harpy's Feather Duster. Mai used a Graceful Charity. You got the Elegant Egotist for obvious reasons. Phoenix Formation works a little bit differently with the anime effect. You can go ahead and read that there. Shadow of Eyes also was a spell card, not a trap, with a completely different effect, and it was Harpy Lady focused. Then you have more support: Hysteric Sign, Cyber Shield, 2 anime support cards, which were Arrow Nail right here, and you have the Rose Whip. Not bad. Rose Whip is alright, but Arrow Nail, not too bad. We are running 2 copies of Harpy's Hunting Ground. In case you draw into one, you don't have to worry about discarding a 1900 beater. Then, of course, Icarus Attack, Windstorm of Ithaca, Harpy Lady Sparrow Formation. You have a Nightmare Trimirror, an anime exclusive card, I believe. Then you have Hysteric Party and the anime effects version of Harpy's Feather Storm, which is actually being printed soon. Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. And then here are the cards in the side deck. I'm just going to go through them without talking too much to save you guys some time. And for the most part, yeah, this is Mai's deck. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at Seeker's deck, and there certainly are shenanigans going on in here. For those of you who don't know or don't remember, Seeker was a rare hunter, and he in fact was a cheater in that he ran multiple copies of Graceful Charity. He ran 2 copies to be exact, even though it's a one of in the show, and he ran 3 copies of each of the Exodia pieces, and he even marked the Exodia pieces, or rather he marked the cards in his deck so that he knew what he was going to draw next, and some sort of crazy shenanigans with like special contact lenses or whatever. But then you have Hannibal Necromancer, which trivia fact was a vanilla in the show. Then you have the Moving Gear Fortress and the Stone Statue of the Aztecs, because he did play these as walls for you to have to try and get over. A much bigger deal in the anime, not too effective in this context. But then you also have Avatar of the Pot and Spirit of the Pot of Greed, both of which can let you draw an additional card when you have Pot of Greed, which we're going to be cheeky as hell and run 2 of. But in the case of Spirit of the Pot of Greed, most of the decks in this format run Pot of Greed, so this can be slightly annoying or for both players. Then you have Pot of Desires, because since you have so many copies of each Exodia piece, it's not nearly as big of a fear using this specific deck. If you need to recycle stuff, you have the Pot of Avarice. You have Allure of Darkness, because you want to make this deck much faster. Dark World Dealings is just a nice draw card. 2 Swords in case things go wrong. A Pot of Duality, because more control over your draws. Reload, and the anime version of Magical Mallet, which is it's much better than the original effect, though they are very similar. Then of course Reckless Greed, 2 Jars of Greed, a Jar of Avarice, and a Negate Attack. For the side deck, you have a Duality, and you have a Damage Pot, just in case you want to go ahead and use that. And just to explain some things, yes, both the Harpies deck and especially this Exodia deck can be made to be much more optimal. However, we have the individuals working with me. I'm not sure if they want me to go ahead and say their names or not, but the individuals who are working with me in constructing these decks, we all decided that it was actually much better to leave drawbacks in these decks so that they weren't so consistent that they were nearly guaranteed a win. And these are the 2 decks. Now let the duel begin.